Hi, I'm Gary Woobers with Ascend Business Strategies, trainer, coach, and speaker. Socially speaking. In this week's blog, I'm going to continue talking about workplace conflict. However, I am going to draw on a subject that we reviewed last month, extended disc. You might wonder, why am I going back to this topic when addressing conflict in the workplace? Well, it's very simple. Conflict resolution goes back to the basics of communication. You must have good communication skills to avoid conflict, and I feel extended disc will provide you with those necessary skills. If you have difficulty communicating with others or understanding how they like to receive and give information, combined with what they might react to any given stressor, you will most likely end up in some sort of conflict. As you might remember, last month we looked at the 4 types of communication profiles and their attributes. All of those indicators told us how people like to socially interact even at work. Thus, today's blog is called Socially Speaking. Everyone has a comfort zone. They might try to stay in that most of the time. However, when we communicate with others, we need to realize when someone says something we don't agree with, or it doesn't fall into our belief system, it triggers a response in our brains, an emotional response. We have 4 basic emotions that generally drive us through our day. Number 1, happiness. Number 2, anger. Number 3, sadness. Number 4, fear. When we look at those emotions, we have to understand that 3 out of the 4, anger, sadness, and fear, will trigger an emotional response that releases a chemical in our brain called cortisol. The release of cortisol in the human's body natural response to fight or flight. In other words, it creates stress. When cortisol is released, your heart rate goes up, muscles tense, and the brain goes into hyperactive mode. This causes us to become very sensitive to others around us and causes us to become stressed. When this happens, conflict can easily arise, but we can work through these situations with a tool design we called the social model. The following framework is a step-by-step guide through the critical steps to conflict resolution. Let me give you a summary of this conflict. Consequences of not resolving conflict. The extended disc style. Strengths, motivators, how we react under pressure, our pace, details and structure, small talk, what we focus on. Possible communication issues. We develop an action plan. So let's discuss each of these categories in a little more depth to give you a better understanding. The first one is summary of conflict. While every organization must deal with conflict, the best approach is to summarize what is going on with all parties involved and then define the root issue. Now remember, to identify the major differences between the parties and identify what might be triggering the emotional response from all the parties involved, the more specific you can be within this section, the easier it is to resolve. Let's look at number 2, consequences of not resolving the conflict. Now, we have to identify and list all the possible outcomes, best and worst case scenarios. If this conflict is not addressed, rarely is ignoring the conflict the best option. Most of the time it will only make it worse. This is where extended disc comes in. You can reference the disc report for everyone involved in the conflict and gain insight on how to address all the parties involved. Number 3, extended disc style. List all the people involved with this conflict and their location of their disc diamond, as you see in the slide above. Number 4, strengths. Use the extended DISC report to identify all the strengths of the individuals involved. Number 5, let's next identify what motivates each person involved as noted on their report. Number 6, how do we react under pressure? It is very important that you identify how they react when they are stressed. When someone is stressed, their typical reaction is to revert back to their natural style. Number 7, pace, details and structure, small talk, focus. Now, as we understand how each person prefers to receive messages, it is one of the most important aspects of resolving conflict. Some people don't want to conduct small talk, while others do. Some people want a slow pace, while others just want you to get to the point. Then, for some reason, focusing on details is important, while for others, it is very frustrating. Number 8, possible communication issues. A detailed-oriented person will want you to have the facts and details, while others just want you to get to the point so they can change or so they can see your side of the story. Number 9, you've got to develop an action plan. An effective action plan can only be achieved when all parties come together and have a hand in its development. When all parties have a chance to express their views, they are more likely to buy into that plan and the ensuing consequences that you have. Now, there are not words enough to share with you how valuable the extended DISC is in working through and preventing conflicts. When you pair extended DISC with the social model, you truly have a wonderful team. Now, if you want to improve your social atmosphere within your organization, or you just want to work on your conflict resolution skills, check out our website at www.goascend.biz, GOASCND.biz, or call us today at 573-644-6655. I leave you with my challenge to you. Give of yourself, love openly, and make a difference every day. Make it a great day. See you next time.